Hey, Derek, I was just kind of wondering, how do you approach when a team can do so many things so well on defense? How do you kind of approach that as a player in your mindset? Like, okay, it's go time, or I mean, just mentally, how do you get ready for a team that can do so much on defense?
Yeah, that's a great question, Chris. I think they're very multiple. They have a lot of stuff they can do schematically because they have a lot of good players. Some teams can only do a few things. Because they try to limit and protect certain things. But these guys can do everything, and super talented group, one of the best in the NFL. We saw what they've done throughout the season. We saw what they did last week. To a really good offense, and so you watch the film. To me, I don't look at the numbers. I just watch the film. I see what I see, and I test everything by what I've seen in my past. And so experience means a lot in these situations. When it comes to game planning and how to attack, that's coach's thing. I'm the player, man. I'm just going to go out there and try and execute exactly what coach asked me to do. But you try your best, man. But what a challenge it is. Just like last week or 2 weeks ago against Kansas City, what a challenge it is that we hadn't had success there. They have really good defense. They make some really good players. They're able to shut out certain things and part of certain offenses. And so same thing going into this one, man. It's a great challenge for us. It's going to take great mental focus in this game.
Derek Levi with Raiders.com. Tom Brady coming up is going to be your fourth league MVP that you played this year. And so far, statistically speaking, you outperformed the other three this season. Of course, earlier this season, you spoke about first coming to Las Vegas and Tom Brady being the guy who was on the front page of the newspaper and how you want to take over the city and, really make it into a Raider city. And so my question really is that do you think that another great performance against a quarterback of the caliber of Tom Brady will not only put yourself but your team on notice?
And this is not directed towards you at all. This is just a general statement. I really just don't care. I'm just doing my job, man. I've spent too many hours caring about that stuff, trying to prove the facts and these kind of things. I just don't care anymore. I'm here to do my job at the highest level I can possibly give to this team, this organization. I'm going to give it everything that I have, just like I do every week, every time I've hit the field. I feel like we're in a good place right now. But coming off the bye week, we got to make sure we're not sluggish. We got to make sure we go out there and, again, I could answer that in a lot of different ways, but I just have to be honest with you. I just don't care about that stuff anymore. My focus is one thing and one thing only, and that's winning these football games. Because I've done the numbers thing, I've done the Pro Bowls thing, I've been up for these kind of things, and none of that means anything without winning the championship. And so my goal is to win this game and then go through my process and win the next game. All the other stuff that comes with it, that's for everyone to talk about and tweet about. I just don't care anymore.
Hey, Derek, you're averaging about 10 yards per attempt when you're under pressure. I'm just curious what you're seeing from defenses or what you guys are doing offensively that you're still able to drive the ball down the field when you're under dirt like that.
I think there's so many things that go into that. One is our protection plan. There's some looks that defenses give you, especially this week, that you gotta be careful when you're in certain vulnerable places. You got to know where your problems are. You got to understand your rules. You got to understand everybody's rules. And as a quarterback, my job is just to execute the play that coach gives me at the highest level I could possibly do it. And if it's something that he's asked me to change, then I audible and I change it and I get it right. And along with that, it takes the 10 other guys to understand what I'm saying, to be at the same level of the audible, to be at the same level of mental quickness and alertness. And things like that. It takes all of us to be able to do these things. I wish I could just say it's the speed of the wideouts, or it's our running backs in protection, our tight ends, or our offensive line. We love them. I wish I could say all of those things, but honestly, it's all of those things put together with the coaches giving us a plan to go and do it. And so I'm just really proud of our guys and how we've started the season. But coming off the bye week, we got a big emphasis was to keep that intensity, to keep that level of pursuit of greatness that we're trying to achieve. And it's a great challenge for us to do it again this week because they're definitely going to blitz us.
Derek, obviously we're in unusual times, but when you come back to work on a Wednesday after the bye week and your whole offensive line has to be sent home due to COVID-19, I imagine that ranks way up there in unusual things that you face. But how do you navigate that through this course of this week? With the uncertainty and all of that goes into it.
What's crazy is I think we touched on it a little bit before is whoever's out there, that's who's out there. Nobody cares about this or that. They just see the win-loss, and that's all that matters in this business. So, with that said, we came in with the mindset today. You're like, oh, dang, you feel bad for those guys. You feel for them, you pray for them, make sure they're okay, make sure their families are okay, all those kind of things. But at the same time, we have a job to do while we're here. So you have to compartmentalize a little bit. You have to separate the two. Once you step on the field and, hey, we have to act like this is game day. We have to act like this is the group we're rolling out with, so get ready to play. And that's just the mindset, the culture that we have here, the mindset we've taken on. It ranks number one in the weirdest things. And y'all know we've seen a lot of weird things around here in my 7 years, but this is definitely up there with some of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
What are the top three?
Oh, yeah, exactly, Vic. I'm sure you can guess a couple of them.
I want to ask you about Bruce Arians said you guys have one of the best big threes in the league, and Riggs, Waller, and Jacobs. Obviously, I'm sure you feel the same way. And are those guys just scratching the surface of what they can be?
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about the time on task, right? Waller was here last year, obviously 2 years ago, but really started last year, and he's into this year. So he's really got a year and a half of starting football, right? Ruggs has got how many games did he miss? I can't remember exactly, but he's 2 or 3 games under his belt in the NFL. Josh is a little over a year, and I'm the old guy with 7 years, right? Here, playing with those guys, and I sit there as excited because I feel like I'm at a point in my career where I'm just now, all right, you got a lot of understanding. I'm in the same system now. We can build and go, and so to see what we've been able to do is exciting. I think it's exciting for our fans, and they've been able to put things on notice, but I really feel like we're just starting. I really believe that. I really believe that we're just beginning to, if we can stay healthy and those kind of things, really see where this thing can go over the next however many years, right? And so we're young, and it's exciting to see what we have, but time will tell. And with the way these guys work, I'm excited to see them grow because I think they'll get better. So they complement each other. Very communicative with me on the sideline, in the game, on the field. They love football, and so when you have those kind of characteristics, those guys are going to continue to get better. And I think that the more that they can continue to work and play together in the same system, the better it'll be.
Last one, Willie.
Yeah, if we could circle back to the lineman question, and I totally get it. You got a job to do, so you got to go out there and focus when you're practicing, and you feel bad, but move on to practicing. But isn't there in the back of your mind, the symmetry that you have with your starting lineman, your center, that somewhat of a concern that if it comes game time and you got new guys out there, you've built up sort of a familiarity, a chemistry where they know your tendencies, you know theirs, that you're going up against one of the best defenses in the league. Can that be in the back of your mind, though, as far as the chemistry that you have with the starting guys?
It's not in mine. It's definitely in yours. I hear that, and I understand it. I really do. I understand what you're saying. I promise. But the beautiful thing about football and with football players is we've been taught, like really brainwashed, Willie. From since we were kids, that someone goes down as next man, and you go to practice and you lose a starter, you lose this guy, you lose that, and you just play. You know what I'm saying? And it's a weird thing because it doesn't seem normal to rationally think that way. But we come out here to practice, and I have a center that has started games and I've played with. I got a left guard I've played with. I got a right tackle I've played with. I got a left tackle I've played with. And yeah, they're not the starters, but I've played with them. You know what I mean? And so it's this way that Coach Gruden just said, and he does it all the time. Like, if y'all watch like training camp, obviously not this year, but whenever we do practice, Coach mixes in starters with third string guys, all that all the time. So, we're used to playing with each other. You know what I mean? And so when something happens like that, it's not as big of a shock to us in the building, you know what I mean, as it would be for someone just hearing, oh, snap, what happened, Do we miss those guys? Absolutely. I'm human, right? I understand what you're saying. We're going to miss them if they can't play or they can play. But when you come out to practice, like, when you go to take that snap, I'm thinking about 100 different things. Not just that. I'm trying to execute my assignment. And then you turn the film on and say, okay, what went down? And so I'm not trying to throw your question to the side. That's just how we're brainwashed. It's kind of sick like that. You know what I mean?
Thank you, everyone.